Welcome back to another episode of Queens of Ponderosa, where we outfit, outgay, and outslay. Really excited to be back in the studio again, talking about our second tribe today. Last episode, we talked about the Hina Tribe, kind of gave our thoughts on the players. This episode, we are going to be talking about the Hina Tribe, our yellow tribe. But before we get started, Alicia, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good.
I honestly, in preparing for these episodes and watching all of the pregame press and all of that, it just ignites your fire for Survivor every season.
Mm-hmm.
Every new season is just wow, I'm so excited.
Oh, yeah.
And also coming off of the heels of a really bad Big Brother season.
Don't even get me started.
Which
girl.
We won't talk about right now.
Not right now.
Not right now. Maybe when there's not Survivor things going on and we have time to just talk about the biggest letdown. But because I know you stopped watching it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I was
in the toilet, in the trash.
It's hard because it's my husband Sam's first Big Brother season that he's watched.
No.
And so he's like, wait, what happens though? What? And so we're still watching it.
Yeah.
But anyway, other than that, I'm great. I mean, I just came back from Lake Powell and
it's vacation.
Yeah, one of my favorite places. Yeah. And you just had your brother's wedding.
I did. My little brother got married over the weekend. Nice to check in with family. Didn't really tell any of them about the podcast, which I didn't think about until I was done. I was like, oh, that would have been a nice thing to update everybody on and be like, hey, you should listen. But I can text them.
Fine.
I can text them about it later.
Yeah, we can shoot him a text and be like, hey, by the way, this is on right now,
Living
actually.
My dream.
Yeah.
Me and my bestie just being super fierce, talking about our favorite show.
Talking about our favorite show ever.
Yeah.
It's so exciting. Actually, I don't even know if I've really told my family. I think I've told them a little bit, in Lake Powell. They're like, hey, aren't you doing a Survivor podcast thing? And I was like, oh, yeah, I am. That's the show is starting next week. And they're like, wait, so what do you do? What do you talk about? Because none of them watch it. So, but your family watches it. They're fans.
My dad does.
That's true.
Don't really.
Maybe I'll get my family into it this season.
That's what I'm feeling too. Is start watching so you can listen to me yap about it.
Mm-hmm. But honestly,
support me.
And this isn't meant to be a baby violin comment, but my family didn't really listen to my Popping Perfectionism podcast anyway.
They were like, that's so fierce. So glad that you did that. Mm-hmm. Not listening
to it. We love you.
That's those. Have you seen that meme where it's somebody will type out a long tweet or something, and there's always replies where it's I'm not reading all that. Congratulations or sorry that happened.
Yes.
That's what your family said to you. Not listening to all that. Congratulations or sorry that happened.
Yeah, we're proud of you, sweetie.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm okay. I love them so much, but it's hilarious. Yeah, it's so funny. I love my dad so much, and I don't know if anyone loves me more in this world. My husband Sam, my mom, but my dad would do anything for me.
Uh-huh.
But he when I was filming Popping Perfectionism, it would be are you still doing that recording thing? And I was like, Dad, I've been doing it for 3 years.
Dad, this is literally my number one side hustle.
I love him.
We've had multiple seasons.
We've
done speaking engagements. What are you talking about?
And he's been to them.
Oh,
which is
really?
Yeah,
he's been to them.
And
it's are you still doing that one thing?
Yeah, he's just
with your
so
friend?
sweet.
That's so funny.
One of my favorite things, quick side story about my dad. I did this public speaking course through a lady in New York. It was during COVID. We were doing the presidential internship.
Oh, yeah.
And Kyle was like, I feel bad you have no projects, because normally the student affairs intern was events,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
And so he's like, you don't have a lot. Are there things you want to do professionally? Da 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 da. I was like, yeah, I want to do a public speaking thing, but it was all virtual.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the course, we all got to share our speech. It was memorized, whatever. There were so many people on the Zoom call from all over the world.
Wow.
And my dad, cutest thing ever, jumps on the Zoom call. He's not muted. He's like, hey, everyone. I'm here supporting my daughter. He's just driving somewhere, who knows where. And the lady, she was like, hey, that's so great, Shane. We're so happy to have you. Could you put yourself on mute? My dad's just like, what's that? What's that? He couldn't figure it out. And I was like, Melissa, you're gonna have to
just
mute
do
him.
It
yeah, he's so cute.
That is so cute.
But anyway, I'll get him to watch the season. Maybe he would like it. I don't know. Who knows?
We'll just have to see.
But all I know is I'm excited to talk about the last two tribes.
Yes.
And do a draft. We're gonna do a draft and talk about our winner picks. And I'm just excited to get it going.
Yeah.
Get
absolutely.
the season going.
Yeah. Well, with that, let's go ahead and get started. So just like our previous episode, we're going to go through all 6 members of the Hina Tribe, kind of give a recap on what the contestants have said in their pregame press and interviews, and then give our own thoughts as well. Yep. So let's begin. The first member of the Hina Tribe is Jason Triul. I wasn't quite sure on how to say his last name. Sorry, Jason. If you're listening to this, we probably botched your name. But let's talk about Jason. Alicia, what are like your initial takes on Jason?
First thing with Jason is he is an alternate. So two players from this cast were removed from the cast because they broke pregame rules.
Correct.
They were like explicitly pregaming on Ponderosa.
Yes, which is super against the rules.
So against the rules and so dumb. Just come on. So dumb.
Jeff was like, this is the first time that we've ever done that in all 49 seasons. We've had people need to leave and put alternates in for various reasons, but this is the first time we've ever had to kick players off for explicit pre-gaming, which is so crazy.
It's so like they were passing each other notes.
Yeah.
And I just like can't imagine. I don't know what was going through their heads because like the whole process you have to go through to get cast, to be finally like on the show. So many of these people are big fans. And like the rules are pretty clear. Like they aren't even supposed to talk. And some people like exchange looks and smiles and laughs. But even that is like dicey.
Yeah.
But passing notes and like explicit pre-gaming is crazy.
What are we doing?
Crazy.
Not fierce.
So Jason was an alternate.
Correct.
That took one of these people's spots. And I think alternates have like a special fire about them.
Yeah.
Because Rachel was an alternate.
Yes.
Austin was an alternate.
Shaheen was an alternate.
Yep.
Sophie, who we'll talk about a little bit later, was also an alternate that's now on this season. So yeah, I kind of agree with you that there's something about alternates that makes them play fearlessly, where they recognize like, all right, I'm in. This is my one shot to make it happen. So yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how that energy kind of influences Jason's game. So one of the very first things that he talked about that I loved was that his mom doesn't watch Survivor, but when she found out that he was going to potentially be on the show, she was the one that pushed him to do all of his prep. So she like bought him coconuts to practice opening in their backyard. He talked about, in relation to his mother and his parents, that he's the son of Vietnamese immigrants and is the first person in his family to go to college. And so very close relationship with his parents and has like influenced, the directions that he took his life. I really thought it was cool too that he works... just quit Google, had been working at Google and decided while he was working that he just wanted to do law school on the side and was like, let's do it.
Let's do it. Well, and it's crazy. He landed his job at Google. Like his story was like incredible. He got this job at Google. It's like a dream job.
Yeah.
But Ruth Bader Ginsburg is like an icon for him.
Yes.
Very inspirational person for him. And when she passed, he was like, I want to go to law school.
Yes.
And make a difference.
Yeah.
And so he just quit his incredible job and was like, I'm going to go to law school.
Yeah.
And is killing it.
Yeah.
Like, he's such a smarty. Like one of my first notes is really impressive career path. Smarty, sweetie.
Oh,
because he's like such a sweetheart.
Yes.
But he is a brainiac for sure.
I talked about it in one of his interviews. He gave like a little bit of a humble brag, which made me laugh, where he says that he tries to be humble, but then in the same sentence was like, I was a valedictorian. I got a full ride scholarship. There's evidence that I might be smart. And so I'm wondering
I might be maybe possibly.
I'm wondering if that part of him will come out because, when you're hungry, sleepy, tired, sometimes certain elements of your personality that you may want to conceal for the sake of the game come out. So we'll have to see if his own perception of his intelligence maybe colors the way that other people look at him. Yeah. One other thing that I thought is, he didn't mention this, but he gave me a lot of David Wright vibes from Millennials versus Gen X and Edge of Extinction.
David Wright.
David, a player who very self-admittedly was scared of everything and was initially perceived as weak. He was very scrawny, very short. And Jason kind of said that he wanted to lean into that because he said, I live in fear constantly. but I want to emulate small guy energy because I think it will benefit me in the game. And I was like, this is honestly giving me a lot of David because David kind of unintentionally did that. He literally was scared of everything and kind of was just authentically himself. And then he became, a huge power player on his first season. So it'll be interesting to see if Jason is able to kind of emulate that same I'm not threatening and now I am sort of thing that David did. And David came up just short. So maybe Jason will be able to take it all the way to the end. It'll be interesting to see how he manages his threat level moving forward.
It will be interesting. He did say, like, word for word, he wants to play small but brave.
Yes.
And I thought that was really smart.
I loved that.
And just a good, like, you can tell that he is aware he'll have to manage his threat level. And I think he's put on a good cast for this specific archetype of a player.
Correct.
Because there's a lot more, like, vocal, social, on the forefront players.
I was going to say, there's so many people this season that really are just leaning into the, like, vibes.
Yes.
Of, like, I kind of just want to be nice to everybody and see where that takes me. And then maybe that's because social players have just done so well in the new era. Players like Marianne, Jam,
Kenzie,
even Rachel, they all were extremely social players. Yeah, even like Kyle on 48.
Kyle,
like I think
sure.
Kyle really leaned into just like, I'm going to vibe with everybody and see where it takes me. So I think a lot of players are really taking that into consideration. So it does make players like Jason, and we talked about Sophie B last time, stand out when they are explicitly like a little bit more strategic.
It also makes me think about 41 with Shan and Ricard, because Shan was very, very social and she was like putting in a lot of the legwork to the ideas, but Ricard was like actually making the choices and saying like, okay, we should try and do X, Y, and Z. And then Shan had to execute. I think he might end up in an alliance with a similar dynamic where they can come to him and I feel like is very disarming. And something that is very clear in his interviews as well is that he just doesn't want to take things too seriously. Like he loves when someone can laugh at themselves and be silly and acknowledge when they mess up and make a mistake and laugh about it and let it roll off their shoulders and just whatever. So I feel like he'll bring a lot of ease to people, but then also the strategic, sneaky eye and would put himself and his alliance members in a good place without having to execute a lot. I could see it playing out like that.
For sure. I definitely see him linking up with someone that's maybe like a little bit more social and maybe like a little bit less living in fear constantly. He specifically mentions Christina, who we're going to talk about next, as being somebody that he got really good vibes from. And Christina, again, who we're going to talk about, seems to be a player that wants to lean into the social side of things. So if they link up, I think they could be a pretty powerful duo. But
I think so too.
Survivor, there's so many things that are left up to chance and like how well your tribe does in challenges and advantages and everything. So obviously nothing's guaranteed, but just based on these pre-game like vibes that we're getting from the players, I could see Jason linking up with someone like Christina. He mentions Shannon as someone else that he got good vibes with. They're not on the same tribe, but, linking up in the future potentially. I see him definitely linking up with a social player and writing that out and seeing where it takes him.
Yep, totally. I really hope that him and Christina link up. Christina, who we'll talk about, didn't give a lot on like who she was feeling. So she's been a little bit more cagey, but everyone speaks highly of her and MC, who are both on this tribe. One other thing I'll say about Jason, because one question that Mike Bloom will ask all of them is like, what's their hot take? And I always find that interesting to like, it kind of lets you see how deep into the lore of Survivor they really are. And one thing he said is that he thinks that the steal a vote advantage is the most powerful advantage in the game.
More powerful
and I was
than
like,
idols.
Why am I getting the chills? I hate that. I hate how much I love this game anyway. But I'm like, that is so real. That is so real. Because like your vote is actually your currency and like the biggest power you have in the game. And so to have someone like take that away and then they get like double power, it's crazy. And I was like, that is really true. I don't necessarily think it's like a hot take, but I was like, that's an excellent point. Excellent.
I don't know if I'd really ever seen anybody put it into words like that before. Like the steal a vote advantage has been one of the most frequently misused, where we haven't seen a lot of people use it to great effect. Even extra votes, if I am correct, I think the very first time that an extra vote was played correctly in an offensive way was Marianne when she sniped Omer at the final 6, where it was her first vote, her extra vote, and Romeo, and that was enough to take Omer out, who was going to win if she didn't do that. Other than that, I've really only seen extra votes be played as like a defensive of like, oh, we're splitting the vote, so let's make sure that we have enough to do this. You know, we saw, I think the very first time the steal a vote advantage was in the game was in Second Chance, and Stephen Fishback used it to steal Joe's vote and went home the same night because it wasn't the right time to use it. So really interesting take from Jason, and it makes me kind of hope that he gets that advantage so that he can put his money where his mouth is and really show us like how powerful something like that is, especially with things like shot in the dark being considered. Because if you don't have a vote, you can't play your shot in the dark.
No,
so
that's
like
crazy.
Another layer as well.
Really good take, though.
Yeah.
Great take.
Yeah. Last thing I wanted to say, just because I'm a huge nerd like Jason, is his very first season was Gabon, which was my first full season of Survivor. And he talked about Kenny being one of his favorite players. And Kenny was, I don't know how present he is in the scene anymore, but at the time was one of the biggest competitive players for Super Smash Brothers in the world.
Yes.
And talks about how that got him into Survivor because he's a huge Super Smash Brothers player. And I love Super Smash Brothers. I'm definitely not competitively that great. I did get like to the semifinals at a tournament at UVU one time, just saying.
What? When?
Oh God, this was probably like 2015 or 2016.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
But
I had no
nothing,
idea.
Nothing crazy, but I vibed with Jason a lot on that because he talked about how playing as a gamer can make you, I can't remember if he said like more fearless, but he basically talked about like people play video games because they love it. Like, what else are you going to do to get like people that live in their parents' basements all day out of their house to do unless they really love it? And that's why Super Smash Brothers has such a big like competitive scene. And he was like, that's kind of how I feel about Survivor too. Like, what else could you do to get people to go and live on an island in isolation with strangers? Except for sheer love of the game and the goal of the prize at the end. And I liked his way of contextualizing all of that. So
I love that. And I like some of my favorite players are like always the nerd ones that are scared. Like I just love them and I have such a soft spot for them. Like I loved David, right?
Yes.
And I love Christian Hubicki.
Yes.
And like I just love that person.
Yes.
And who did Marianne have a huge crush on? Zach.
Yes.
Zach was my winner pick. Like
Zach, come on the podcast.
Please.
We would love to have you on the podcast.
I love you.
Zach. We love you.
Yes. I love him. I love the nerds. Like I love Stephen Fishback.
Yes.
And it's funny because I am not that player myself, but I feel like that's who I would naturally want to play with and like align with.
Yeah.
Just because I have always had a soft spot for the nerds.
Yeah.
So I'm cheering on Jason.
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely. Any other thoughts on Jason, Alicia?
He has the fluffiest hair
He does have
I've ever seen.
very fluffy hair indeed.
Very fluffy hair.
All right, let's continue on. Next member is Christina. So Christina Mills. What are your thoughts on Christina?
I love that she said she's going to be like a Sari 2.0. She said this because Sari, when she first started playing, it was like she just felt so out of place and out of her element because she literally went from the couch to Survivor is like her famous saying. Like she came from the couch, just watching it on the couch to all of a sudden she's on the show and people just loved her for that and how fearlessly she played, even though she felt like she was out of her element. Christina is a mom. She has Irish twins.
Yes.
So, and I didn't really know what that was, but it's kids that are like back to back.
Yeah.
Like you have a kid, you get pregnant.
Yes.
They're like
less than it's like
less
10
than a year
I think
apart.
they were 10 months apart. So it was literally back to back.
Yeah, back to back.
Which is so fierce.
So fierce. So fierce. However, the hard part of that is her postpartum depression she talks about. And that's like a really, really big thing for her. And she's super open about that and how postpartum and overcoming that is something that has prepared her a lot for Survivor.
Yeah.
And being a Black woman and a mom and all of those things, it's like she just really identifies with Cirie.
Yeah.
And I loved that.
I loved that in one of her interviews, Mike Bloom asked, like, what's your superpower? And they joke and then we're kind of serious. She was like, being a Black woman. Like, that was my superpower. She elaborates and says that being a Black liberal in Oklahoma is going to be her superpower because Oklahoma is the only state where every county is red. And she says that that has allowed her to communicate with and get along with all different kinds of people, even if they're coming from like different backgrounds, different points of view, different beliefs, different values, which is honestly really crucial in a game like Survivor because you are literally put on a tribe with strangers that are from various walks of life, probably very different from you. So I think that will definitely be a benefit to her. And I feel like Cirie kind of was able to do that too. Cirie was a nurse and very famously was able to kind of use that experience to integrate herself into a tribe where at the very beginning they explicitly told her either you or Melissa, the other older woman, are going home. And then Cirie made it all the way to the end because she was able to integrate herself. It's honestly really interesting, the parallels. Like, obviously, the first parallel people say is like they're both like Black women in their 30s. And so, you know, okay. But like beyond that, like, yeah, even their like demeanors and like the way that they approach things, like I really do, you know, Cirie's a once in a lifetime player. No one's ever going to be like her. But I do get some Cirie vibes from Christina. So we'll have to see if she's able to follow through on those vibes or if it's kind of just something that we're seeing but isn't really present. It'll be interesting.
It's a big parallel to make because she really is a once in a lifetime type of player.
Yeah.
But if anyone could be compared to her, it is Christina, just with their like uncanny similarities. She, in terms of like her gameplay, she did say she's going to be very, very social and loyal. Strategic, sure, but she wants her game to be heavily, heavily social and align with a strategic brain.
Yes.
That has attention to detail, she said. That's where I think her and Jason
I was
could be the
say,
match made in heaven.
Oh, yeah. Perfect combo right there.
And if he's afraid of everything and she has that motherly, like nurturing instinct and aura, she's just going to bring so much calm to him. And so I think they could be really, really powerful. I really hope that that works out.
Absolutely. Yeah, I thought it was really interesting that she mentioned she feels like she's going to be perceived as likable. And I don't think she said this explicitly, but I kind of got the vibe that she knows she might be perceived as motherly and wants to lean into that. And I honestly think that's a smart move because people are looking for people that they can trust. And, you know, we kind of talked about this on our previous episode, but I think we're seeing a bit of a meta shift in the new era where it used to be blindside your biggest ally. Yeah. Like all like alliances are out the window. We play it round by round.
Yeah. Voting blocks or whatever.
And I think we've started to really see a shift probably from like 44 on of like, you know, the Tika 3, the Reba 4, you know, the Kenzie, Charlie, Ben, Liz quad that formed later. You know, 47, not as much, but then 48 to the max. We saw like the unbreakable until the end Joe, Kyle, Shaheen, Eva, Camilla unit. So it seems like the pendulum is swinging back to like loyalty is really what people are looking for. And so I think Christina is positioned very well to benefit from that. The only roadblock I see potentially is if her tribe ends up being a quote unquote disaster tribe and goes to tribal. I could see Christina getting picked off for her perceived lack of physicality. I think of everybody on this tribe, she probably is the one that would be initially pegged as the
weaker,
eliminate for the sake of strength pick.
Potentially Jason, because mom strength is real.
Mom strength is real.
Mom strength is so real, but I don't know. She could have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people on this cast are talking loyalty. Everyone's like, I want a loyal alliance member, a loyal like partner and person. So she definitely is trending with that vibe, but it's like they're gonna have to vote people out eventually.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a lot of physical strength yet, at least from Jason and Christina though, up to this point. So will they have the curse of the yellow buff?
Yes.
In being the disaster tribe?
Yeah.
Potentially.
We will have to see.
Potentially.
Yeah.
But Keela is also up for grabs too on that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Last thing I wanted to say, or I guess last two things, is Christina was an engineer who transitioned into being a grad school counselor, which I think is so fierce because I also work in higher ed. Alicia had a moment where she worked in higher ed as well. So obviously like connection there, kindred spirit there. But I also think that's really interesting because it shows somebody that can excel in like very analytical environments, not to stereotype engineers, but she obviously thrives in analytical environments and now is in a position where she says she's doing a lot of one-on-one counseling, coaching, advising, which is like a skill that I think is going to benefit her so immensely in Survivor. So like,
true.
You know, I initially was kind of downplaying like, oh, like the strategy, it didn't really seem like that was something she was emphasizing a ton in her interviews, but like obviously an area where she thrives. And then last thing I wanted to say, I loved her story of how she talked about how Survivor 45 specifically helped her to reclaim her life because she was going through postpartum depression. She lost her mom to a fentanyl overdose.
Yes, that's right. I forgot about that detail.
And then she saw Jeff like apply to be on Survivor. Now's the time. And that's when she really started to commit to, like she said, reclaiming her life, getting ready to be on the show. And we talked about in our introductory episode what Survivor means to both of us. And that story just really resonated with me because I remember like really hard times in my life too, where Survivor brought me joy when there wasn't a lot of it, whether it was like hard stuff at home or going through breakups or, you know, obviously nothing on the level that Christina talked about in her interviews, but I really resonated with that and was happy to see like, again, what I said, Survivor is more than just a show to these people. It's like something that drives you to become the most like fulfilled version of yourself. So love you, Christina.
Love it. And just, everyone loves that story, the Cerise story of like, I was in the pits and not doing well. And I got off the couch and was like, you know what? I'm going to do this.
And let's eat.
And like the confidence, like the confidence that puts in someone is so cool. And especially for a mom. Like I'm all for moms just like reclaiming themselves.
Yes.
I've seen my mom go through that struggle as all of us kids are aging. Like her last just barely turned 18 this last weekend. And it's like, okay, he's going to be gone soon, mom. Like, and moms just sacrifice so much. Their whole bodies, some of them, like their dreams and things that they want to do for a while to caretake and to raise us and to raise children. And so I'm all for moms being like, let's go do this.
Absolutely.
And as we mentioned last episode, moms and the like older women, even though she's 36, that's not old, but they've been doing well in the new era.
They have been doing well.
Yeah, there is certainly a path to success for her.
Absolutely.
Speaking of familiar stories and things, we have a Utah representative here on Survivor 49.
We do.
In Matt Williams.
We do. For all of our listeners, Alicia and I are located in Utah as well. That's our base of operations here. So yeah, always really excited to see somebody that's close to home. Utah has produced, you know, quite a few iconic Survivor players. We've got a couple winners that live here, a couple runners up. We've also had some like early flame outs. So Utah, we've seen all the sides of the spectrum here. So let's start talking about Matt. Very first thing that he gives me is like free spirit. Like very much a go with the flow. I can get along with anybody. Matt works at the St. George Airport. St. George is a small town in southern Utah. Growing up, he wanted to be a stockbroker and became a registered stockbroker at 21. But then kind of had like a midlife crisis. It sounds like he met a friend, or he was talking with a friend who said that he went to Paris completely free because he works like taking care of luggage at an airline. And Matt was like, that sounds fierce. And so he decided to do it. So very much giving a free spirit is kind of just like open to all kinds of adventures.
I wonder if the dreads came when he started working at the
Yeah.
airlines, because he has some long dreads.
He does. He said that every time he goes outside, someone compliments him on his hair.
Yeah, it's in, well, and especially in the St. George, Utah scene, like you don't see a dreaded free spirit often.
Yeah.
Maybe like it's growing because St. George has been growing a lot.
Yeah.
But he would stick out.
Yes.
For sure.
Definitely would stick out.
He also reminds me a little bit of also Matt. I can't remember what New Era season he was on, but he like dislocated his shoulder.
Oh, from 44.
Yeah, he was like climbing rocks, and he's just so adventurous. I was like, wait, is he coming back? And then I was like, no, that's a
Dyed his
different
hair.
Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like reincarnated as Matt Williams.
Yeah.
Super free spirit, adventurous.
Yeah.
Not super into the lore of the show.
Yes, doesn't seem to be the biggest super fan based on some of his responses, but is definitely into the show. Said that his wife got him into it like 10 to 12 years ago, and they've been watching a lot of it. He is the oldest man on the cast, so he definitely will immediately be fighting that perception of like being the old guy. And older guys have not done as well as like the older ladies in the new era.
Yeah.
But he says that his superpower is that he's going to be a physical dark horse because he has built up so much inner unseen strength from literally tossing people's luggage around at the airport.
It'd be exhausting.
Yeah, so
for 10 years too.
Yeah, I don't imagine that he'll be like a physical liability at any point. He said that his strategy, he didn't really talk a lot about strategy. He was pretty light on it, but one thing that he did say is he wanted to play like a Trojan horse of being perceived a certain way and then having like his weapons or like his threat level concealed on the inside, which I think is really smart for someone like him. I don't necessarily know if he's going to be able to be the most cunning strategic player.
No.
But he mentions, you know, that he is going to play to his strengths, which is just like being a provider, wanting to be perceived as somebody that should be kept around. He's just this like funny
old fat guy is what he says. Yeah.
And then like ramp it up, which I honestly think is like, I think that shows that he's pretty self-aware of how he'll be perceived, and that's the strategy that he should take. So I don't really feel like that's a bad thing to do. Yeah. Based on the cards that he's been given in the game.
I don't think so either. I think he's playing it exactly as he should. And he's aware of what his strengths will be and how he will be perceived. And he should just stick to that.
Yeah.
And don't try and do anything wild, Matt, as our Utah rep, please. Because last time we had Ellie.
Yeah.
Who I liked Ellie, but she just went a little AWOL.
We have had some pretty wild Utah representation on seasons past. Same with Big Brother, too. Shout out Kyle.
Angela, we love you.
Angela Murray, please. Come on the pod. Come on the podcast. I would literally pass away.
We should get her.
Oh, my God.
We will.
Absolutely.
We will.
Obsessed with Angela. Yeah. Love her. Angela, apply for Survivor. Angela, get on the show.
I would live for her on Survivor.
She would be so fierce.
She would be incredible. Yeah. Like, Utah has produced some great players. I think Matt is going to be so lovable. And just sweet. And I don't think we should expect anything else outside of the box of what we've talked about. He literally
says that's his foundation. His foundation is to be nice. He mentions Kenzie as somebody that he wanted to emulate. Ironically, he says his foundation is to be nice, but then also says that Tyson is his like winner, which made me laugh because he says, Tyson and I have a lot of similarities. We both have long hair. We're from Utah. We're smartasses, ex-Mormons. And so I was like, okay, interesting. Your foundation is to be nice. And then love you, Tyson. And he would admit this too.
Oh, yeah, he's not a nice.
Yeah, identifies with like one of the biggest bullies.
Yeah, big bully, big villain. Seen. Yes.
So... But love you, Tyson.
Everyone loves Tyson.
Can I tell a fun fact or story?
Please.
I met Tyson's mom once when I worked at the shoe store in Orem.
Does she look like him or does he look like her?
Well, I recognized her based on her last name because when she came to check out, I was like, do you have an account with us? What's your phone number?
She
put her phone number in, and then so Tyson's last name is Apostle, and I instantly was like, are you Tyson's mom? And she was like, I am. Yes. And I was like, oh my God. I am the biggest fan of Survivor. I love Tyson. I love him. I think this was just after Winners at War had finished. So he was like fresh on the mind too.
Yeah.
And I was like, I know this is like so random. I am not trying to bother you, but like, I love Tyson. And she was like, oh, I'm really happy that you do. Like, he loves Survivor and we love watching him on it. So I'll let him know. Anyway, that's
so
the
sweet.
closest I've ever come to a Survivor player.
That's close. That.
And I guess you've met Joe before. So like, anyway, random story.
I have met Joe.
You have met Joe.
I have a picture with Joe.
Joe Anglim, to be specific. Not 48 Joe.
Not 48 Joe.
Yes.
The OG Survivor, like, heartthrob for me.
Yes.
Love Joe. One other thing I'll say
Yes.
about Matt that's just, like, so funny, and this is totally fine.
Yeah.
What I'm about to say is not dogging on any fan that feels this way or whatever, but they're just like, I want to be loyal and kind, but, like, they love the Tyson. He loved Russell.
Yeah.
Who's, like, the devil in Survivor. Like, he is such a huge, huge, huge villain. Like, the king of the villains.
Uh-huh.
And then also his hot takes was that he loved Chris Underwood.
Yeah, I really had to side-eye that one.
I was like, Matt, no.
Especially because Josh and I, my boyfriend, we're watching Edge of Extinction right now. Josh, that means you can't listen to this episode of the podcast. Sorry.
Stop, Josh.
I'll tell him.
Fast forward. Okay, yeah.
But yeah, we're watching Edge of Extinction right now. And I've been trying to watch it with more of an open eye of like, okay, because the first time I watched it, I was like, this is the worst season ever. So now I've been rewatching it, I'm like, okay, like keep an open eye now that you know that Chris wins. Like, and I still am just like, no.
I can't.
Like it's like the antithesis of what makes Survivor. And so I'm glad that they have not repeated that twist and we don't have any people coming back in and that, like, no shade to Matt.
No shade to Matt and no shade to Chris.
Yes.
Because Chris did what he should.
Did what he needed to do to win. Go off, Chris.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Congratulations. You're one of the hottest people that's ever played Survivor. Thank God for you.
Yes, uncontested.
Yes.
But hate that season and hated that twist.
Oh, yeah.
It was fun to, like, watch. And he also loves the fire making challenge, which I'll talk about in a second.
Yeah.
But I think, like, the casual viewer of Survivor would be like, that was an exciting season.
Yes.
And it's so thrilling.
Oh, yeah. The casuals loved the Rick Devens, Chris Underwood
They
show.
loved that. And that's fine.
Yeah.
Rick Devens will have his chance again on 50.
Yeah.
But anyway, like, the casual viewer, which if you are that's fine.
Yes.
That's completely fine. But, like, the diehard fans are just like, no.
Yeah.
And so you really do learn a lot on the hot takes, hot take answers.
I completely agree.
Anyone who says they love the fire making challenge, we are not friends. I'm just kidding. Well, we are friends.
Yeah.
But
we're friends with everyone. Love everybody. Congrats to being on the show.
Yes.
That's a great transition to our next player, MC, aka Michelle, because her hot take, we'll just get right into it. Her hot take is that she thinks the new era is better than the old era, which is crazy. Now, granted, she is a brand new Survivor fan. Her very first season was 47. So she literally started watching the show last
2 days
year.
ago.
Yeah. Literally 2 days ago.
She also wants to bring back Redemption Island.
Yes.
So, girl,
so,
bye.
Michelle, speaking of hot takes that are crazy, welcome Michelle MC to the show.
And I'm not even going to try to say her last name.
Yes.
Her and Jason will be friends.
Chukwujekwu, I think is how you would say it.
Chukwujekwu.
I know that
I don't know.
When I lived in Zimbabwe, they are the vowels are very much phonetic, so like e, o, u. So that's why I think it would be Chukwujekwu, I think is how you would say that. MC, if I got it wrong, I apologize.
I'm excited to hear her say it because it's thrilling.
Yes.
She's also the alternate to this season.
Yes. So both alternates ended up on the same tribe. So Jason and MC, both alternates, which I'm sure is really exciting for her as somebody that just started watching. I'm immediately getting Rome Cooney vibes. Rome Cooney was on 47, and he was a brand new Survivor fan where he applied for the show and watched, I want to say he watched every season in the span of like a handful of months. And then got on the show and very famously crashed and burned super hard. So I don't know if MC is going to be the same way, but that's my initial vibe is she is very excited about the show, has watched a ton of content in a short amount of time. So I wonder if she will be able to handle that same kind of dynamic. It's just so interesting to see people that are brand new fans, like how they approach the game. Because like people like you and I that have been watching for so long, it's like probably literally impossible for us to separate like our built up knowledge of the game if we were actually to go out there. Whereas someone like MC that has literally been watching for like actually 2 seconds.
Actually, yeah.
Like, it's so interesting to see because they really don't cast people like that anymore that
No.
like haven't really seen the show. So
and she has like watched a lot
yes,
up to this point, but she just started literally 2 years ago, year and a half ago.
She definitely, I think, is going to be somebody that is going to give go big or go home energy. She says she wants to go on a journey, which I think typically does not usually work out in a player's favor. She wants to find an idol, and she was an athlete growing up. She has done boot camps at 5 a.m. in the morning. Wasn't exactly sure what that entailed.
Yeah.
But very much is leaning into the physical element. So potential to be like a triple threat, potentially, of like physically aware, socially aware, mentally aware. But I also think that could lead to her just getting a giant target on her back if she is so go get 'em, which is kind of what happened to Rome, because Rome was the same way, like very aggressively search for advantages, put people in their place. I don't think that Michelle or MC is going to be as abrasive socially as Rome was.
No.
And she did say that she feels like she will be perceived as a mean girl based on her RBF. So she's self-aware in terms of like, I think I know how I'm going to be perceived and I have to try and like push back against that.
Yeah, push back against that.
Yeah.
She is a fitness trainer.
Yes.
She's going to be bringing a lot of strength to this tribe, which they need.
Oh, yeah.
From the past players that we've talked about. I mean, it's not that they don't have strength, but they need someone to be in that role.
Yeah.
So she is super strong.
Yes.
And I just like love her being all into that. And so you just know too that like so many people fall in love with Survivor at the beginning because of the challenges.
Yes.
And then it's like as you understand the strategic and social dynamics of the game, then you like fall deeper in love.
Yeah.
And so you know she's like obsessed with the challenges and she's super gritty. She has a really strong head on her shoulders. She really wants to work with Sophie S, which we will talk about next.
Yes.
And so that will bode well for her because they will be on the same tribe.
Yes.
What's interesting in her being a new fan as well, I do think she'll end up being used more than like she's
Which
not
is exactly what happened to Rome too, because Genevieve just played him like a fiddle and then cut him when it was time. So
I think she'll be far more useful, I think, than Rome. Well, Rome was pretty useful, and I will say, as much as I'm like, ugh, Rome, I loved watching Rome. Like I actually did.
Definitely made good TV.
Yeah.
And we need that.
We do need that.
I don't know if I loved Rome.
I didn't love Rome, but I enjoyed watching Rome.
Yes.
I did want to like push him into the fire when he sat in Jeff's seat and like pretended to be Jeff.
Well, and to be fair, Jeff is the one that initiated that, so we can throw Jeff in the fire too.
Yeah,
just kidding.
No, we love you.
Love
we
you,
love
Jeff.
you.
Yeah.
I would never throw you into the fire.
Yeah.
I would go right after you.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I think that she'll be used more as a pawn. Not even a pawn, because she's going to be a shield in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
She'll be like a bishop.
Yeah.
On someone's chessboard, who is like valuable. Is that a real word?
Yeah.
You know when you say a word so many times or like think it through or spell it, you're like, is that even a real word?
You're doing great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, she brings a lot of value to the tribe and as an alliance member, and her wanting to work with Sophie S, who is a lifelong fan. I think she'll just end up being used and cut.
Yeah.
By Sophie.
Yeah.
Potentially.
It'll be interesting to see if she can like buck these perceptions we have of her, because I kind of feel the same way.
Yeah.
I think that she can go pretty far, but I don't know. I am curious to see what MC can do, because my initial vibe is I either see like an early flame out or someone that just gets played like a fiddle and cut when they least expect it. So we'll see.
One other thing I will say about the new like virgin fans is I do love their takes and like the bravery that they play with.
Yes.
Or the bravery that they bring to the game, and just like the fresh eyes and the fresh perspective. Although we as super fans will be like, okay, we see this playing out, girl. Yeah. Like we know the path you're headed down. But she doesn't know that. And maybe it'll go a different direction. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe she'll surprise us.
Yeah, maybe she'll surprise us. And a take I personally have is I want there to be more contestants like her that are new to the game.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think like mega fans, super fans play with like a certain level of hesitation or reservation.
Well, almost just like robotic. Like the term
Charlie.
The term that gets thrown around online is like a game bot.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think that we see a lot of people play pretty game body, and it is refreshing to see these people there's a lot of people on this cast, like we've already talked about quite a few, like that seem to be less game body, and MC seems like somebody who wants to be game body but is so new to it that it will be it'll be different than, a mid-pod lip application.
I had
is
to.
So fierce.
I had to.
I love you for that. That's Queen of Ponderosa right there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, let's move on. Like we said, next we're going to talk about Sophie S. So we had Sophie B last time, who's on the Hina Tribe. This is Sophie S. I'm assuming that's how they'll differentiate them on the show.
Potential game bot?
Potential game bot.
What do you think?
Well, I feel really good about Sophie.
I do too, and I'm scared to say it. But anyway, go ahead.
I am currently going back and forth. We're going to talk about who our winner picks are at the end of the third episode when we talk about the remaining tribe, the Uli tribe. But I'm going to go ahead and give like a sneak peek. Sophie is up there for me. I'm going to need to hash it out more and think about it, but very much giving winner energy to me.
Same.
Has been watching Survivor since elementary school. Remembers like the latest that she was allowed to stay up was watching the previews for the next episode, and is so into Survivor that she is not allowed to participate in the Survivor Family Christmas competitions anymore, which
That's so
I
cool.
resonate with because I've been told that in many different capacities because I'm extremely competitive and take things super seriously. I've been told by friends that I can't play Mario Party with them. There was a stage that Josh was like, babe, if I'm going to play Mario Kart with you, you need to chill out. So I resonate with Sophie a lot, and I feel really, really good about her. Sophie was the alternate for 48 and is now getting her chance to play on 49, which she mentions, we talked about earlier, how alternates play. She is ready to play fearlessly.
Ready.
She said that, I'm kind of glad I didn't play the first time because I felt like I would have been playing with imposter syndrome of like, oh, I'm only on because somebody dropped out. Whereas now I get to play authentically myself. I can make the moves that I want to make, play at the speed and pace that I want to play. And I just felt everything she said, I was like, oh man, I'm feeling so good about everything that she's saying.
I really was too. Like I was getting so hyped listening to her, and the whole time I was thinking in my head like, please be able to manage your threat level. Please, please. Don't let the excitement like get the best of you.
Yes.
She identifies a lot with Carolyn, which I loved because Carolyn is like
Carolyn.
Yeah, uncontested, a favorite.
One of the new era greats for sure.
1000%.
Yes.
And something that we all loved about Carolyn is that she can be an emotional and strategic player.
Yeah.
And that's something Sophie talked about is like she will be an emotional player, which is like, okay, that gives me really high hopes that she's not going to be a game bot because she is an emotional player and an emotional person. She's clearly like physically strong and has the strategic mind. Her occupation is strategy associate.
Yeah, she talked about working for YouTube.
Yes,
and
that's right.
specifically doing like analyses of the impact that YouTube has like in different countries because creators are hiring people to work for them as part of their like productions and stuff. So yeah, very
so cool.
Yeah, like analytical mind for sure, but also has this like strong emotional component, which is super great.
She also said that she has mutual feelings towards MC. And that she wants to work with MC.
Yeah, I can see them linking up pretty quickly. It'll be interesting to see, like, because it seems like this tribe doesn't necessarily, like, have a core. I know we haven't talked about Steven yet.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to have, like, a core that's immediately jumping out to me, like the Hina Tribe did with, like, Alex, Jake, and Sophie B.
Yeah,
where, like,
strong.
We know they're going to link up right away. This almost seems like there might be, like, duos that initially feel really good. Like, we're going to have Christina and Jason. We're going to have Sophie and MC.
MC.
And then Steven, who we're going to talk about last, said that Matt gives him good vibes. So, like, are we going to see, like, a couple duos that compete for the duo that's in the middle? Potentially. Matt specifically said that Sophie was one of the few people that didn't give him good vibes. He said that Sophie felt like somebody that was not talking to him, not because of the rules, but he felt like Sophie just did not want to talk to him.
It was, like, personal.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's the case.
I don't think that's the case either. I think Sophie's just trying to put up a very, like, neutral front.
Yes. Well, she's also saying she's been, like, clocking a lot of people on Ponderosa, and she was like, some people are really pushing the rules and being social. And they're, like, smiling at each other a lot or laughing. And she's like, we're not allowed to do that. And when you think about her position, like, she was an alternate for 48, and now she has her shot here. She's like, I'm not screwing that up by pre-gaming, which 2 people did on their tribe, literally. So I could see in her shoes why she would be cagey on Ponderosa and just, like, shut down a little bit, or not making eye contact or putting up a wall. So maybe Matt will forgive her when she can, like, be her social self and her, like, loving self, because I do think she is really charming. But I don't know. Because will she be as friendly and charming as MC and Christina and Jason? I don't know.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Sophie, to me, feels like somebody that could be the complete package. But I think managing threat level is going to be really important. And, you know, like I said, there's so much that goes into Survivor with, like, luck and how your tribe does. Like, you know, she could be somebody that gets voted out really early because people are like, oh, she's going to be a huge threat. Like, I just don't know, but I know that I felt really, really good about her. And
Me too.
I'll be interested to see, you know, where things go.
Yes, I'm high hopes.
Yeah.
Really high hopes.
Absolutely.
Last but not least, this is Stephen Ram,
Yes.
35, from Colorado, lives in Colorado, is a actual rocket
Literal
scientist.
rocket scientist.
So he's freaking smart.
Yes, very
and
smart.
we love that. He doesn't look like a stereotypical nerd, though.
No.
I do have the least amount of notes on him, but this is what I do have.
Okay.
He's a brainiac.
Very much.
And he is such a sweetie. He golden retriever energy.
Yes.
Owns a golden retriever. Named the dog Rupert.
Yes.
So we have a big fan.
Uh-huh.
I also have a dog named after a Survivor player in Tony.
Yes.
So I love that.
Yeah.
And I love golden retrievers. So he just is, like, super happy, bubbly energy and person.
Yeah.
Which I love. And I think this tribe will need a little bit of, because we've got some shy people that are scared of everything, and then some, like, gamers that might seem hard.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to be some really great glue to this tribe.
Yeah. It's funny you say glue, because I feel like I kind of was thinking the same thing of, like, so he's a newer fan, got into Survivor during COVID, and self-admittedly hasn't watched every season, but seems to have, like, a very good understanding of, like, the nuances of the game and the role that you need to play. And yeah, he did talk about glue. Like, he gave an analogy that reminded me of, like, the glue of a tribe, because he said, like, you know, rocket scientists making space puns. He was like, there's supermassive black holes at the middle of every galaxy that we can't see, but they pull everything in towards them and keep them close. And he was like, that's the vibe that's, like, the role I want to play, is, like, pull everybody in an unseen way, like these supermassive black holes, and keep them really close. And, you know, his hot take was that he feels like people shouldn't be forced to risk their vote on journeys, because, and then he talks about, like, the way that a vote is, like, social capital, and, like, he just really kind of helped me feel good about his understanding of the game, in spite of being, like, a newer fan that hasn't watched every single thing. He compares Survivor to being, like, a deep space exploration mission, where there's not only, like, things you have to do in the moment, but you have to be thinking about, what do I need to do now so that when this time comes, I have the tools ready. Like, he compared it, because for his job, he works with NASA to get people to the moon and to Mars.
Very
and
casual.
So the way that his job works is he has to be like, what do we need to start planning right now so that the technology will be created and ready to go by the time we are sending these people to the moon or to Mars? And then use that as an analogy for his game. And I'm like, honestly, that's like a fierce analogy. Because that's what you're doing. Like in the pre-merge, you have to start thinking about like, what relationships do I form? What seeds do I sow? How do I cultivate, you know, the alliances I need so that when the merge comes and it's pandemonium and chaos, I have everything in place to get me to the moon, which is final tribal.
That's such a good analogy. Yeah. And sometimes I get sick of Survivor analogies.
Oh, yeah.
Or like the analogies players make in the game. It's just like,
they're corny, they're played out, but not this one.
But this one's new and it's so true. I mean, in my experience with rocket science, which is this much, zilch. It's like when you think about constructing a rocket ship and it has to go to the moon and back, burn through the atmosphere back, like what pieces of this ship can go through that much? And what are pieces that are going to like take me to a certain point and then burn off? Or like won't be as durable, you know? So I think he could be, I am going to call myself out and say I'm probably sleeping on Steven. Because he's crazy smart. And I think with being as new of a fan as he is, he has a really good pulse on the game. And like where I think he'll fit in the game. And he maybe could be strategic masterminds with Jason because he also has the social component where he's like a little bit more social than Jason. And he's like very positive energy, very outgoing energy. I love also his backstory of like growing up with hearing issues. I can't remember what it was. Did you find it?
Well, he said that he basically didn't realize that he had hearing loss until he was in his mid-20s and he was dating a girl at the time. And I don't know if I can't remember if they're still together. But he said that his girlfriend at the time kept feeling like he was ignoring her. And he was like, no, I swear, like I'm listening, sorry. And then he went and got tested with like a beep thing where it's like, raise your hand every time you hear a beep. And so he was like, I thought I was doing well because I kept raising my hand with the beeps. But what I didn't realize is that like there's frequencies that I just can't hear very well. And he didn't realize that until he was in his mid-20s. So then he got hearing aids. He talked about like all of a sudden everything sounded richer. Like I could hear my keys jangling in my car. Like I could hear my engine. Like, so he talks about, to your point, that he developed subconsciously a ton of ways to cope with the hearing loss that he didn't know that he had. So he became very adept at reading people's body language, people's vibes. Like he said that even though he has hearing aids now and can hear better, he feels like he has a sixth sense where he can really perceive like, how is this person feeling? What's the energy that I have? Which is interesting because some of these like very stereotypically nerdy players, we wonder like how well their social skills will be, but he seems to be like very prepped to adapt to this kind of situation of like reading people's vibes, energy. People are always going to be lying to you at Survivor, but if you can read the energy that's coming off of them, you have a much easier time at detecting if they're being truthful with you or not.
And being able to engage, well, it's like being able to translate, I guess, for lack of a better word, that unspoken language of body language. He said in an interview that body language is another language.
Yes.
It is. And it's one that not everyone speaks, but he does. And he does it well. And I love when players have a story where their weakness or their like perceived weakness is actually what their strength is in the game. And I think this will be a huge strength of his in the game, is being able to catch on to vibes, or he'll be able to sense like if people are talking about him or what are they maybe talking about, or like he might be able to gauge where he falls in the tribe before he knows like what is going to happen. So I'm really excited for him. I was sleeping on him, but I think he could do really well. He really, really could. Who did Steven say he wanted to work with? Because I don't remember what he mentioned about that.
So he mentions Matt as someone that gives him good vibes, so I could see them linking up. Matt kind of seems like he would link up with basically anybody based on the role he wants to play of like being kind to everybody. Then he also says Nicole, Annie, and Nate, who none of them are on his tribe, but you know, he said that he's also a musician and saw Annie wearing like a drummer shirt. And so if they link up, they could have a lot in common because they both have like, I mean, NASA's not necessarily corporate, but like Annie has a corporate background, became a musician in her 40s. Steven, like, same thing. Like, he works as a rocket scientist, but is also a musician. So that could be an interesting pair.
That could be a fun pair.
That would be a very wild pair to watch if they meet up. So yeah, we'll have to see, what Steven is able to do with this collection of skills that he has. It'll be really awesome.
It'll be interesting. All in all, with the Hina tribe, seeing a lot of pairs and potential duos, not seeing like a strong core. Could be the Chaos tribe. Yeah. Could carry on the yellow buff curse. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not. Well, should we do you think they will? Do we have to decide if our prediction?
I just don't know. Like, looking at our infographic now so that I can see all three tribes next to each other. Pull that up. Like, they initially seem to me like they may struggle physically.
Yeah.
Because the only people that seem the only person that seems very outwardly challenging
is MC.
Whereas we talked about Kella last time, obviously Jake, but then Sophie and Alex and even Annie, right? Annie talked about the athletic stuff that she does in her spare time. I feel like they have quite a bit of strength. So I just don't know. I don't know, but Matt obviously has that inner strength from lifting luggage,
Sophie, she's clearly excluded from family challenges and games because she's really good.
Yeah, so
Christina could have mom strength.
Yeah, so I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Yeah, I agree with your assessment that we might see some pairs of Jason and Christina pair up, MC and Sophie pair up, Steven and Matt pair up, and then the pairs have to compete. It's almost kind of giving, if we think all the way back to season 32, Wrong, on the Brains tribe. That's exactly what happened. You had Aubrey and Neil, you had Debbie and Joe, and then you had Liz and Peter. And Liz and Peter thought they were in the middle, when in reality, they were on the bottom because the two other pairs
they were already ahead of them. Yeah.
So I could see something like that happening here where, I hate to say it, but I almost kind of feel like I could see it happening to MC and Sophie.
Them being cut?
Yeah.
Because I was just going to say, I think I could see MC, Sophie, Jason, and Steven coming out of it.
Okay.
And I feel like I could see Christina, Jason, Matt, maybe not making it as far.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alicia, any final thoughts on the Hina tribe?
Girl, I think that's it. We'll see how it goes. They might have some trouble ahead of them, but likable people. We can't sleep on the Hina tribe.
Definitely not. Well, with that, listeners, the queens have spoken. Those are our thoughts on the Hina tribe. Tune in to our next episode where we will talk about the third and final tribe, the Uli tribe, our final 6 castaways. At the end of that episode, we also will talk about our winner picks. Now, we've talked about everybody. Who are we going into the season feeling like this is the person we're committing to be the winner? Tune in and see what we have to say about them.
Yeah, also let us know your thoughts on these tribes.
Yeah.
And if we're having a different read than everyone else, although the queens have spoken and we are the queens of Ponderosa, we listen to our people.
Yeah.
And our people can have opinions.
Absolutely.
And we want to hear them. And they can be different than ours.
Drop a comment down below, DM us on Instagram. Yeah, tell us what you think about the contestants. I'm excited to see what our listeners have to say and what their takes are.
Yes. Okay, we love you guys. Tune in for our last tribe.